right. Okay, welcome back to the channel. I'm Hank Strange, and I'm broadcasting live not from the Big Daddy Gun studio in Gainesville, Florida. I'm actually in Missouri. Let me just got to make sure. We're in the area of Branson, Missouri. We're on vacation, family vacation with the rest of the Strange folks. And we wanted to come on today to talk about the VEPR rifle, specifically Malott VEPR rifles being added to the ban list by Treasury Department. We've got guest, my friend Walter Keller of Safety Harbor Firearms here to help us talk about that. Walter, how's it going?
Good, good.
Yeah. So you want to actually, you know what? Let me pull up the news here. It's this is in a bunch of different publications, but I'm going to read this from the Firearm blog, and it came up. At this point, it's about 20 hours ago. Breaking: U.S. banned VEPR due to sanctions. Looks like it. So that's the title. It says U.S. Department of Treasury released an update to the sanction list in connection to the Russian-Ukrainian conflict today. And it appears that as a result of the change to sanctions, the U.S. has banned VEPR rifles and shotguns from further import. And then it says, well, not really banned, but United States-based businesses are prohibited from doing business with Malott or Uzi going forward. I imagine that any products that have been purchased already and are in the process of import will be available for purchase, but anything past that will become very scarce, like the Sega rifles and shotguns several years ago. Okay, so it goes on, you know, the article goes on from that. Any reaction to that, Walter?
Yeah, I'd heard, I guess one of the Ukrainian leaders or somebody, a politicians, was visiting the White House, I guess, just recently too.
Okay.
But I had heard about Malott's financial problems a while back, and you know, they weren't sure what was going to happen. You know.
So you think this is kind of like a double whammy on the situation, like Malott having financial problems, and then we're putting them on the ban list?
Yeah, they're putting them on the ban list because of the Russians' monkey business in the Ukraine.
Right.
And then, you know, things aren't going real well, it doesn't seem like, with the Russians at this point.
Yeah.
Even though
situation's going downhill. Yeah.
Even though they election, they're still not our buddies. But
yeah, I'm pretty sure the Russians have messed in every election for, I don't know, the last 20, 30 years. Much less us messing with things related to them. So for folks out there who don't know, let's break down kind of quickly what the VEPR is. My understanding of it is that it's a heavier duty rifle than your standard stamped out rifle. It's based on the Russians, the RPK. That's basically
correct.
full auto. So it's like
Right.
50% more reinforced in the receiver and in the barrel, right?
Right, correct. It's got a thicker metal in the receiver.
Okay,
Correct.
so that makes, like, the VEPRs are kind of, if you want to go high end, that's what you would be looking for.
Yeah, if you want the better quality, say, versus like a Romanian gun or something, you go with a VEPR, yeah.
Okay. Do you have any of those in your collection? I know you have an extensive collection of VEPRs. I'm sorry, AKs. Excuse me.
I don't have a day late and a dollar short on that one. I just
Right.
never pulled the trigger on one. So
You didn't get a VEPR?
no, don't.
Oh boy. You and probably several, you know, lots of folks out there who wanted to get into it. We've been reviewing recently the Krebs custom KV13 Mod 2, which is built on basically it's a VEPR that they take and then they rehab and add all kinds of cool stuff to it. We've been reviewing one of those recently. Nice guns.
A couple Segas though. They're also on the ban for the first ban.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyone out there who has a VEPR that they want to sell to Walter Keller, please let us know. I'm sure he's not looking to pay $10,000 for it.
No, I don't play that game. Homie don't play that game. So.
Well, do you think, is that what you think is going to happen? I know you said off air that you tried to order one today. What happened?
I just checked Centerfire's website and on the shotguns, and they were out of stock.
Okay.
So Chris in the shop here, Chris, the machinist, he's been looking around too, and he's like really pissed about this ban thing because he's been wanting to get one, but he just never had the jack to pull the trigger with.
Yeah, look, I know that the last time I actually spoke to Mark Krebs, he said that they did have the KV 13 Mod 2s. They did have them available. Has anyone checked there? I know those are like even higher end because of the work that Krebs has done to them.
This has got to really suck for them, especially if they build their business based off those guns.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, if they have a few left, it's, you know, it's not really going to help them because they can't get more in to keep doing it. I did try to reach out to Krebs to see if we can get them to come on. I haven't gotten any responses yet. And I also reached out to Jim Fuller. You know, he's really busy over there because there's a lot of changes going on at Rifle Dynamics. So that's, I mean, that's keeping him really busy. I probably, you know, will get him to come on sometime in the future. We'll see how the timing works. You know, Jim gets up real early, works himself to the bone. That's why he's so skinny. And then, you know, he's knocked out after that. You know, he's busy. He's a busy guy. But we'll try to get him to come on. They also build their stuff. They build some things based on VEPRs as well. So,
right.
And there's, I'm sure there's other companies out there doing it.
Yeah, to me, it's kind of an opportunity here for someone else or some other company to maybe just step up and start making some stuff very similar. Who knows? Maybe Kalashnikov USA will step in.
Yeah. And yes, Kalashnikov USA, they're supposed to be in full swing. They are in Florida, by my understanding. I've tried to do some things with them where I could, you know, bring to light what they're doing. They've moved to Florida. They've got factories and things like that set up there. Not easy to get those kinds of connections going so that we can communicate with them. Hopefully, though, they can do something about it.
Yeah, that would definitely be good, I guess. Like I said, I have some other RPK.
You broke up there for a second, Walter.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we lost you for a second on audio. At least I did. You want to repeat that?
Let me walk back towards the router.
Okay, you're walking around?
Yeah, I'm doing it on my new iPhone 7.
Okay, Walter's trying to show off his new iPhone 7 Plus that he finally decided to buy.
Yeah,
because you're old. What was that, an iPhone 3 or something that you had?
Oh, I had a 5 something.
Yeah, okay. Might as well be a 3.
Well, you know, it worked till last night, and then it just died flat out.
Okay. Yeah, so what were you saying? Just go back to what you were saying there.
Oh, about the I have a Yugoslavian RPK.
Okay, hold on one second. Hold on. I've got Jim actually calling me now. Hey, Jim.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. I'm actually on live right now, but I'm glad you called. So we can, do you mind if I put you on speaker?
Just call me back whenever you're ready, man.
Okay. Are you able to come on the call? Because I could send you a link. We're doing a live call right now. I could send you the link if you'd like.
Who are you on the call with?
I'm on the call with Walter Keller from Safety Harbor Firearms. It's just me and him.
Okay.
So
what are you guys discussing?
we're talking about the VEPR ban, VEPR being added to the ban list.
Yeah, sure. We can do it right now. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I'll send you a link so you can jump on this. I'll send it right now.
All right. You want my email? Or what?
Well, yeah. You know what? Don't give your email out because I'm live right now. Text me your email and then I'll send it to you.
Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Bye. All right, guys. So it looks like we're gonna get Jim Fuller on here in a second. I'm gonna let Walter take over while I try to send out that link. Go ahead, Walter.
Oh, okay. I have some similar VEPR type guns, but I guess maybe that doesn't count. But I probably would have pulled the trigger on the shotgun this morning as a Johnny come lately if they had them in stock, but they didn't have any more in stock. So
yeah, I mean the news has been going on for a few hours here. So
yeah, I mean at one point they were really inexpensive. All the Malott guns were down really low, and I knew about this problem they were having because I'd heard about it on the Firearms blog, I think, or one of the other sources, but I didn't think it was banned, but one thing, I guess it's guilt through association. So they get put on the list.
So how do we wind up in this situation in the first place? Do you want to explain that to folks out there?
Well, the Russians trying to invade the Ukraine, we're trying to penalize them for that, and then through sanctions, and then of course Malat has financial problems, and the Russians don't want to go under because they're a provider of stuff, guns and stuff. So I guess Kalashnikov is going to step in and kind of take over. But
yeah, so that's affecting other things, right? Like I think right now that's affecting ammo as well, right? Especially specifically the AK-74.
Oh, that's what they manufacture also? I wasn't.
I'm not. I mean, I think that like the other things that are on that list.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, anything that they manufacture will be on the list. Yeah, 74s, 47s, RPKs. I don't know if they do PKs and stuff like that, but that'll all be on the no-go.
Yeah, and to your knowledge, have any of these guys, has Malot tried to move to America as Kalashnikov has done? So
I don't think. My machinist Chris was telling me that Malat has like $40 million worth of debt.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I guess they're coming in, that one's taken over or coming in for 20 million or something like that, but they have to guarantee they keep the arms flowing.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know how it works in Russia, but it's probably a little different than everywhere else.
Right.
So,
yeah. So for anyone who's wondering, we sent out links to Jim. So right now they're working on getting the computers and all that set up so that Jim can jump on. Yeah. So, I mean, because we don't even know at this point if, if it'll be possible to do anything like that. So what happens here is our only chance of getting these at reasonable prices if an American company decides to manufacture these somehow, but they still have to get the intellectual rights to be able to do that, right?
Yeah, it's not like you start.
So it looks like Peter Hink sent a message to you, Walter. He says, Walter, order from Classic. Now, no more rifles, but shotguns. One still available from Classic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
well,
I don't.
Now that we've passed that nationwide.
Yeah. Everybody. You better hurry up. You better tell Chris or someone over at the shop to go jump on there and put that in the basket right now. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hey, I know, Hank, you're such a young guy, but did you ever try to win anything on a radio station back in the day?
Yep, absolutely.
Be like the 10th caller?
Yeah.
Yeah, I won tickets to, not to change the subject here because we're trying to, but I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I won tickets to concerts and albums, stuff like that. So that's the way. Dial as fast as you can.
Yeah, go now, though. I mean, you might be able to do it if you may have a better chance because maybe some guys, this is a money thing. This is why people haven't done it. A lot of folks out there haven't done it yet. I see that Jim joined, but I don't see him in front of the camera. I do see his logo popped up. So we're getting close to actually getting Mr. Fuller.
Needs to turn his speaker on too. I see the little cross through his speaker.
Yeah, yeah. So they're probably getting set up. That's why they muted it. But we're getting close to getting him to come on here. Yeah, so I think you may still stand a good chance of being able to get something just because anyone out there who's going to jump on that, they have to have that money available right now. And they've always been, what's been the average price for a VEPR before all of this?
Like a VEPR rifle, probably in that $699, $799 price range, maybe $8, depending on the model. And the shop for $699. I've seen them a lot cheaper when things were slower, but right now I think Centerfire wanted $799 for a shotgun. So, I don't really have one. It's not one of those things. That's why I haven't bought one. They're cool, but I just didn't want to spend the money. But I don't follow the ban thing. When things get crazy, I don't buy stuff because I understand what happens. Actually, so
yeah. Usually, how do you come about your AKs? Are you usually buying this stuff when you go to Knob Creek, or how does this usually happen for you?
Some of my stuff's been private. Some of my guns, some I've bought, just like everybody, something for sale and I buy it. Some I've assembled stuff for kits.
Right.
So yeah, I haven't bought an AK in a long time, actually.
Okay.
Couple years. That's a long time for me.
Why not? What's the reason? I mean, I know there's a lot of guys I know that kind of shied away from buying AKs because the price has gone up, and then they've been telling me that they remember, you know, they remember that when the AKs were $75, and I keep telling them, well, that's not ever happening ever again.
I've heard those stories of the $75 AKs, and I've been doing this since, like I said, in like '92, and I don't. $75 AKs. Now there were $75 SKSs, but not AKs. I mean, that was, I mean, maybe 175, not 75. I just haven't bought one recently because I didn't want to spend. You know, I like some of the guns that are out there, but I just couldn't justify $8 for it. So that's why. When I do have, you know, I have the first gen Century Arms milled receiver gun, which is a nice gun. I like it. I've got a Century Arms. They made some milled receiver Polish knockoffs.
Yeah,
that works well. And then I've got a bunch of sheet metal receiver guns that, like I said, I've purchased that I've assembled. And
yeah. I mean, the milled stuff I've found, for the most part, most of the milled things out there, you know, they're pretty good. The stamp things, I guess that's where I'm not as knowledgeable on AKs as lots of people out there, you know, including you. But I think sometimes you run into problems with the stamp stuff. That's what Jim was telling me when I went out there. Someone in your position though could do something about that, or do you think even for you with the machinery and everything you have, it's difficult to do something when it's a stamped gun and it has problems?
Oh, like making the heavier stamp receivers or milled receivers?
Or if you just have a stamped gun, just bringing it up to snuff. Because I know there's some of them out there that have had issues because everyone's just been bringing every single thing you can into the country.
Yeah, there is a lot of junk out there. There was a lot of Romanian guns that were real pieces of crap, that were all with crooked sights and things mounted funny. And then there's American-made guns, and we won't use anybody's names that.
Okay, looks like we're getting Jim calling back. Hey, Jim. Hey, how's it going? Yeah. Yeah, turn that down. We're hearing the feedback. Yeah. How's it going?
Hang on, I'm trying to get rid of the sound. I got echo going on in here.
Yeah. If you've got us on, you've got to mute it. Okay, good. So we're discussing this VEPR's being added to the ban list.
I'm sorry, man. I'm still getting delays here, Hank. I don't know what's going on with this phone, but I've got you muted on YouTube, but I'm still getting delays here. I don't know what this is all about.
Okay. Well, did you want to add something to? You know, do you have any opinion of what's going on with that? Oh, we lost him. Okay. He's got some. I don't think Jim has done a live broadcast in a long time. So I know when he first called, we weren't getting an echo. I'm not sure why he's getting an echo now. We have his speaker muted over here, but he probably doesn't have us muted there. I think. Yeah.
I know the first time I did one, it was a little bit of panic on my end too, but I've gotten a little more used to it, believe it or not. So
yeah, you know, this is how it goes when you're trying to do live stuff. It's not always an easy thing to do. I mean, it's a lot easier now than it used to be, but it's not always the easiest thing to do in the world.
It's 50-50.
Yeah. The biggest thing that I tell folks is if you get like a good headset that works on USB, you could pretty much plug that into your laptop or your desktop, and then that allows you to just, you know, jump on. And the other things The other things are pretty easy as long as your data stream is relatively good.
Right.
Yeah, even now I'm not using the hotel data stream. I'm using the stream from I have like a hotspot, an AT&T hotspot that I use that gives me a little bit better upload. Upload is the thing that's important. That gives you more speed. All right, so I don't want to turn this into a lesson. We'll see if we can get Jim on. If not, I'll try to get him on to come on later, and we'll somehow figure out how to get that done because, you know, oh, here we go. Let's call him back. Hold on. Hey, Jim.
Hey, man, I think I got it figured out now.
Sweet. Yeah, we don't hear that echo anymore on our side.
Yeah, it's all done. Yeah, I got to find somebody that's smarter than my computer in here to fix it.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So, you know, we'll just do it like this through my microphone. Do you have some comment on what's going on with VEPRs being added to the ban list?
Well, I kind of came in late here, so I don't know what you guys were talking about, but it's obviously, it doesn't affect us too much because we don't really depend on them. You know, we kind of learned our lesson after they did the SAEGA thing. You know, I was as shocked as anybody else is. My concern is that I see a lot of people on the internet trying to blame Trump for this, and it's like, I don't think really Trump has a whole lot to do with it. I think it's just something that happened because of the sanctions that Obama put into place. From what I understand, the reason it happened was because Kalashnikov Concern is trying to buy Lola, who's in bankruptcy. And since Kalashnikov Concern is covered by sanctions, that automatically extends to Molat. So, and this is something that I would think Trump could probably get into and do an executive order to make it go away. But with our current political situation, with all the, with the Democrats claiming Russian coal, Russian, all this stuff, the things that are going on over Syria with planes and all the stuff that's going on, I just don't see how he could politically remove that. You know?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's something that was already in place, and then there's a whole system there before it would even get to him that, okay, this thing just went on the list, and then he would have to consider us as gun guys trying to deal with that and prices going up and everything. And honestly, I mean, he probably has more crap to deal with. Right? So
I lost you there for a second.
yeah, I said that, honestly, Trump has probably a lot more to deal with than this situation, although it's something for us because there's a lot of gun guys, I think, out there that wanted to get into AKs and get into the high-end stuff. VEPR falls into that category, and they just haven't done anything yet about it, and it's probably too late now. What do you think?
Well, I'm sure that whatever's in stock is still going to be available for a little while, but you're going to see price gouging on it. That's a given. It does. You always do. Hopefully, it won't go crazy, but it's just like occasionally you can still find a SAEGA that was imported back before we stop it, but it's getting fewer and far between, and the price just goes up because of it. I see this as an opportunity for somebody in America to step up myself. Because if they're going to keep playing this game to knock out any kind of foreign-built guns coming into here, then America needs to step up and do it. I know we've been working on it for a while, and it's time for it to happen.
Right, absolutely. Because I know that recently you made some partnership agreements with Rifle Dynamics. You're probably not ready to talk about that, but do you think that you guys will be able to help here with the demand for the high-end stuff?
Yeah, I can't say too much about it because it's not my place to say anymore. I don't own the company, but things are coming. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, yeah. So you're working on it. I'm sure some other people are. So maybe people will just.
Oh yeah, it has to happen. I mean, honestly, our industry, most of the industry seems to be going to the lower end of the market. They want to feed as many people as possible, so they go to the lower end of the market, the $500-$600 AKs. Whereas people have been counting on Arsenal or the VEPRs or whatever else they could get to for a more medium quality upper end AK. And so American manufacturers are just going to have to start looking at the top end to beat that market because there is now with Arsenal sketchy, SAEGA's gone, VEPR's gone. We need to step up.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised no one's done it already because I've seen the demand of AKs go up, and along with that, there will obviously be a rise in demand for the higher end things. But it seems like the manufacturers focus more on AR-15s.
Well, it's a money thing, really, Hank. When you're trying to make AK parts, I mean, you hear the horror stories about castings and stuff like that. The only reason they're doing it is because it's inexpensive to do, and it keeps the price point down on the gun. But it's not the right way to do it. You know, I mean, David Pillars, when he had the DEI, they took the right step in getting, you know, the main parts done in hammer forge, you know, those hammer forge parts, the bolt, carrier, trunnion. Those are the parts that really need to be high quality to give you a better quality AK. And they did it. And PSA, I think, bought them just to be able to get those parts. I don't know. I'm not privy to that kind of stuff, but that's the direction the gun needs to go in most countries before it's ever going to be considered, you know, a top quality gun.
Okay. And so does ammo come into play here, do you think, or are we making enough ammo here? Because I know there's been some shortages on that end as well.
Well, I heard somebody say, oh God, because of Lola, now they're going to stop Wolf. Well, Wolf isn't being bought by Kalashnikov Concern. The only reason Lola got caught up in this is because Kalashnikov Concern was looking at buying them, so that just automatically makes them on the sanction list. You know, Wolf is not on the sanction list. None of their, as far as I know, none of them are owned by any Russian entity. So that's the issue that we're dealing with here. If something's owned by a Russian entity, American businesses can't do business with them. It's not a ban. It's just a, no, you can't do business with them because that's Russian stuff. So as long as, you know, I heard somebody say that, but I don't see how it's going to affect Wolf Ammo or Silver Bear, any of these new animal stuff. You know, it's just, it's just not, it's not part of the Russian economy.
Okay. So for the folks out there who are, you know, who are really like genuinely worried about this because they wanted to buy these things, do you have any advice for them on what to do?
You know, if you wanted to get that VEPR, I suggest you buy it as soon as you can, because I doubt that they're going to be around much longer. You know, I know there's a lot of builders that are depending on those things for base guns. And they're probably going to be buying up as many as they can find right now, just so they can keep making guns. So, not to mention that, you know, I'm sure RSR is probably getting raked out today. They're not already off them. You know, RSR, Fine Group, Liberals is selling them. I'm sure they're all getting heavy calls today, allocating guns wherever they can. So it's just going to be, it's going to end up being a seller's market here pretty soon. So I suggest if you want a VEPR, get it now, because it's obviously going to be done.
Okay, so I got a question from folks listening. They want to know, are the VEPRs worth the money, in your opinion? And if so, what do you think they're really worth? Because obviously we're going to get price gouging pretty soon.
Yeah, we are. And really, it's worth what people will pay. I mean, in my opinion, the VEPR is a very high quality factory made gun. They're a little heavier than most guns. It's a heavier barrel, and it has a bigger receiver, so they have a little more weight on them than most. But as far as a good factory stuff made AK, they're perfectly good gun. I'm not sure what the retail is on them right now because we don't necessarily deal with them. I think they're somewhere around $1,000, maybe a little less. But I wouldn't be surprised to see them going for $1,200, $1,300 pretty soon. And then as time goes on, the fewer there are, we're just going to go higher and higher.
Okay, and so if we run into a situation here where you can't get it, what would be a rifle that you would suggest as a replacement for that if folks can't get their hands on that and then they are looking for something?
Well, I mean, if you're helping on having a foreign built rifle from the factory, probably the Wasser is about the only thing you're going to find. Maybe the Edo stuff, and the Wasser, you know, the quality of those will come up, but it's not near as nice as the gun as a VEPR or an Arsenal would be. But it's still a viable gun, and there's still not that much money. You know, you can still get a Wasser for over $700. So that's not really a bad thing to look at. Most of them are very decent, a little rough looking, but they work. You know, and it's a spec factory gun. So
Oh, okay.
It's just not a VEPR. You know?
Right. It's usually is not. Are you saying it's not as good quality? I've noticed the Wassers are definitely lighter.
Yeah, because they're built to AKN spec. It's just that, you know, if you look at the quality of the parts, the tool marks and stuff that are in the parts, they're good. I mean, it's just not as cosmetically nice in the gun as an Arsenal or a VEPR. But will it work as an AK? Of course it will. They have been for a while. I mean, they were pretty shitty in the early years, you know, but the Romanians kind of cleaned it up and stepped up a little bit and started using better parts and better assembly processes. And really watch it by back up. And the price you get to that when you look at the only other guns on the price rate, because you're looking at pretty shitty guns compared to the Wasser, in my opinion.
Okay, cool. All right. So, I mean, you know, I don't want to hold you up on the lines. I know you're busy over there. So we've got to, you know, do you have any kind of time frame? I know the last time I saw you, you said that we'll be able to have access here so far as being able to just walk into local gun stores and picking up a rifle dynamic. What kind of time frame are we looking at?
We're still about 3 or 4 months
Wow, I mean, that's good news. That's good news because I think, so far it's been, a lot longer than that. I mean, I think folks have been waiting in some cases for like 2 years, right?
We were up to 2 years at one time. It's
Mhm.
most of the time it's been around a year late.
Okay.
We did get up to 2 years at one time. So, the thing is, I mean, I know it's sad that we lost the peppers and stuff, but, and there's a lot of people that just don't believe an American AK can be as good. And frankly, the market hasn't proven that so much. All the new U.S. made AK stuff hasn't really been all that appealing compared to the original stuff. But I do believe that it's going to step up, and American companies are going to prove their worth. I know we're working on it. I know other people are working on it, and there's a lot of smart people that are really trying to take the right direction in this thing, and keep the higher end market and not necessarily the lower end market. So
Okay.
you got to do it.
Right, that's good to know. Now, one last thing. I know that I've spoken to some people that were wondering if, like, now is the time to go out there and get a Rifle Dynamics because that's kind of got your, got your hands, your touch all over it, or is it going to be basically this? Is it still going to be that same thing when we fully transition?
I'm still contracted to be here for at least the next 4 years. Really, nothing has changed with my involvement here. I'm still part of the quality control that I always have been. I still do a lot of the hands-on stuff here. I still test fire guns. I mean, as much involved as I was before, I just don't have all the medics and business on. That's why I did it. So at least for the next 4 years, I will be here at Rifle Dynamics. We'll be doing what we've always done, just doing it better and faster.
Okay, cool. So that's good to know. Any Rifle Dynamic fans out there that haven't gotten a Rifle Dynamics rifle yet, you've got the next 4 years at least to do it before Jim decides to like buy a boat and go sailing in the Caribbean seas or something.
The Rifle Dynamics is going to go on. I'm part of the reason for selling it, to make sure that it will go out far beyond me, and it will now.
Okay.
We have the resources to keep going, and that's what's going to happen.
All right, awesome, Jim. Please, if there's any change of news on this, I'd like you to, reach out to us so we can bring it to people.
Anytime, Mike. Always a pleasure talking to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Jim. I appreciate it. Bye.
You guys have a great day. Thanks for calling me in.
You're welcome. All right. All right, so there we go. I just wanted to, give Jim a chance there to speak on it. You have any thoughts on that, Walter?
No, that's cool. That's firsthand with somebody that's involved with it. So, you get to right from the mouth of like I said, somebody's involved with the whole process. So
yeah, directly. Jim's, like he said, I think he said that they're not necessarily buying VEPRs right now because they learned their lesson from when everything happened with the Segas. So they've got other things in place for that.
Yeah, you should have a second backup plan.
Yeah.
Just in case things happen, especially when you're dealing with political situations and foreign governments. So,
right.
And, you guys were talking about ammo, or you mentioned ammo. It's kind of hard to compete with the foreign ammo because it's so cheap. And the American companies have never stepped in and really made cheap AK ammo. It's always been higher end stuff. So.
Yeah. So right now, so the situation that we're in right now, you would say, I mean, really, that's the choice that we have, the foreign market for foreign manufacturers for AK type ammo. I know that there is some high end ammo. I've never really bought any of the high end ammo here. I'm not aware of what those companies would be, but it's expensive stuff.
You don't want to shoot Hornady hunting ammo when you're doing machine gun blasting. It's not.
Yeah, that's for hunting. If you use your AK for hunting purposes, which some people do, I know that.
I used to hunt with a Chinese Type 56.
Right.
Excellent brush gun. When you're stomping through the swamps in Florida. I used to hunt with an SKS and an HK91, an actual German HK91.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that makes some people cringe. But hey, I dropped it in the water, picked it up, drank the water out of the barrel, and shot a hog. So.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
You can't do commercial rifles. They won't work after you get them dirty. So that's why I like the military guns.
Do you think that's because the tolerances are get tighter and maybe, or, what's going on there? Like what would be the reason for that?
AKs and HKs and the SKS are designed to work dirty. And certain bolt action rifles, American one, or any bolt action rifle, the Mausers will work dirty too. But a lot of the semi-automatic American hunting rifles if they get a little dirty or dusty, I've seen them where they don't function. So
Yeah, I remember I did a mud torture test years ago when I first started doing this YouTube channel. It's pretty embarrassing, but I still left it on. It's still on the channel for people to look at it. It's also very long. We basically did a AR-15 versus an AK versus a bullpup. So we had, I believe it was a Colt LE 6920, and the bullpup was the Tavor when it had just come out. I literally had it for a few days, and I can't remember what AK that we had. I would have to look into that. It's probably on the video for anyone who wants to know or anyone who's watched it. But what we had is like the after the first magazine through the AK, when we went to we got it in mud and stuff like that, and we shot one round through it, and it stripped off the casing, got stuck inside the barrel, I think, and we didn't have the rod. This particular one didn't have one of those rods to push it out.
okay.
So that's as far as it got.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a choice, and a push come to shove, I would probably grab an AK versus the AR-15, just because it can go longer without any proper maintenance. That's just my opinion, though.
Okay.
Sure. I don't want to start the.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would beg to differ with that, Walter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If I had to choose, I would just take an AR. I mean, you could put thousands of rounds through an AR before you have to clean it, and it's a lot faster and easier to clean it. I mean, it depends on how you're maintaining your AR. It's a lot easier to clean an AR, in my opinion. I'm not saying an AK is real difficult to clean and take down either. It's not. But
you got to stop drinking Branson. That Branson water is doing something to you.
Oh, okay. See, so we can have this. You know what? We can have AK versus AR conversation at some other time. I did want to bring up this news and talk with you. And I'm glad that Jim Fuller came on from Rifle Dynamics and gave us some opinion on that. And
that was good. On that.
Yeah, and the biggest thing I got out of it, like he said, is like, this is really just something that happened because what is it? Kalashnikov, he said, was trying to buy Malat. So because that's Russian owned and this ban is going on, it automatically goes on the list. It's not necessarily. I'm sure there's some people out there like, Trump, do something about this. Well, this has been an ongoing situation for a while, and that's just really how it goes when if you're in the firearms game and you're collecting guns, you cannot wait until stuff like this happens to buy those guns. I'm always telling people, like I tell Walter, buy terrible guns, because those will go out real fast. The companies will stop making them, and there'll be few of them. But other news like this, you can't control when it comes along. So if you can afford it, you get into it, right?
Yeah, if you're every time you mix political, foreign governments and buying guns, you never know when it's going to change. You look at like South Korea and the M1 Garands and the M1 carbines that they want to import. There was no reason why they couldn't, but Obama said no. So that's happened now that we have a different administration. So get it when you can. When those guns come in, buy yourself one or two, and then if something happens, then you're like, aha, I got one.
Yeah, absolutely. And then for the time being, as Jim said, there's some American companies that are moving on it, and manufacturers should move on it. I think too many manufacturers just went into the business of making ARs and thought that, hey, we'll be good to go there. I know there were some people that tried it. Some of those guys don't necessarily have the best reputation out there. It'll be good to see companies that have better reputations getting into the business of making AKs. And, making entry level as well as mid and upper level AKs, since there obviously is a demand in America for them.
Yeah, you have to have all of it. You can't just have high-end guns, because not everybody needs a high-end gun, to be quite honest with you. Even though it's high-end and it works great, I mean, if you're just going to go out and plink with your boys and you only got $400 to spend or $500, then it'll work.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. Not everyone can afford it. We'll never see the days of $75 AKs ever again. So anyone who's done that, I hope you enjoyed it and you took a Kodak moment out of that, because we won't see it again. All right, Walter, I know you guys are building stuff out there, so I don't want to keep you on the lines. I invite folks to leave comments and stuff like that. Let us know what you think about this, and if there's any further movement, we'll come back to you with it.
Lunch is here.
Oh, lunch is there. See, there you go. So lunch is there. Walters from Safety Harbor Firearms. So don't forget to look into that. Safety Harbor sponsors the Hank Strange situation, as does Rand CLP and Andrews Custom, and of course Big Daddy Guns now, that sponsors us doing these live broadcasts that we've been putting on every day. And it's also brought to you, I sound like I'm on PBS right now, but it's brought to you by the folks that look out for us on Patreon. So we're Patreon/Hank Strange, and there's folks out there that are helping us out to keep doing all of this. And we will come back to you tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Peace out. Any last words?
Talk to you later.
All right. We're out of here.
See ya.